Hey, good day. This is another episode of the Raw Report. How you doing today? Obviously, a lot of racism going on in this town. All right, so a young college student, is doing his job to keep the areas of his complex clean. Now, this is video footage from the police cam. I'm not going to show you the information from the news. I'm going to show you the actual police cam of this cop approaching this guy. Now, you notice one thing right off the bat. The sound is off, okay? So they have a way of controlling the sound in the middle of this, and this should not be that way. I mean, the video should roll, the sound should roll anytime you make an approach. From the moment you get out the car to the moment you get back in the car and you're leaving, nothing should be tampered with. We already saw in the Sandra Bland situation how it was so much editing on that video, it was ridiculous. Okay, good thing Sandra was videotaping the situation herself, because clearly that officer was in the wrong. All right, so this guy is going around picking up trash, cleaning up his area. But of course, this guy got braids. This guy got a beard. Clear case of racial profiling, because had he been blonde-haired with blue eyes, it may have been a different situation. Now, oftentimes I search on the internet. I don't have to search too far, but oftentimes I search on internet because, like I said, I am an associate of Legal Shield, and when I go and offer Legal Shield to different parts of the community, I want to show why you need to have this program. Now, that is not my intention for this video. My intention for you to see the fact that this stuff is going on, and it's going to continue to go on until we get some better legislation to handle this situation that's going to really put the police put some heat on the police department. Don't mind having police. We need to have police officers. We need to have our community safe. We need to have protection in our community, but we don't need the protectors, and there's a few in a whole lineup of protectors that just take it to the next level. And they care more about protecting themselves more than the citizens. In a lot of these cases that I'm seeing, it's weak reasons for you to kill a person. One man I have on video was at his mom's house visiting. The doorbell was not ringing. He's out there fixing his mom's doorbell. And the cops come approaching him, assuming that he was trying to break in. He turns around to talk to the cops, and they see the screwdriver in his hand, and they light him up like a Christmas tree. This stuff is getting pathetic, man. If you're that on the edge, you don't need to be a cop. My wife was like that. She was on the edge. I mean, one time we was here in New York City. We were living in Virginia. We was coming here to visit in New York City, and somebody kept blowing a horn at her, letting her know that something was going on with the car. She on edge. So she gets out and grabs with her gun. The dude was just trying to help you, baby. If you're going to be that on edge, you don't need to be a cop. Let's go ahead and watch this. I'm going to try to play it all before I cut into it. We're going to watch the entire video. I'm going to try not to say anything, and then we're done. Now, you notice no sound.
I couldn't help but notice you just sitting on the patio out there.
What's that?
I couldn't help but notice you sitting on the patio behind this building.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's signs for no trespassing, private property, that kind of thing. Yeah, I wasn't sure what you were doing, if you lived here or you worked here.
Yeah,
it looks like you're working, doing
I
something,
live here
picking stuff
and
up.
I work here.
Okay, gotcha. What's the actual address then?
3333 Arapahoe.
Okay, what unit are you in?
I don't think I have to actually tell you that.
Well, I'm just checking to make sure that you have a right to be here, that's
Well,
all.
I just told you I lived here.
Okay.
And I told you that I'm working as well.
Okay.
Shouldn't that be enough for you?
Well, I gotta verify it, just so I know that you
Why
do
is-
in fact live here.
Kidding me? What do you need from me?
If you have an ID with your address on it, that'd be great.
Fucking unbelievable, man.
Well, we've had some stuff going on in this area. I'm just
I
doing
know.
my job, just making sure you belong here, and if you do, then great, and I'll be on my way. Okay.
Now, right away, he said, I need an ID with your address on it. He's a student. Students not going to have an address, an ID with the address of the dormitory or the school on it because they can move from dormitory to dormitory. He is a student. Number two, it is not. You don't have to have an address, and it doesn't. Let me keep going.
Do you have anything with your address on it?
Yo, look, man. Here,
Hey,
follow,
hang on.
why don't you follow
Just
me
relax.
and I'll just fucking beep the building, dude.
Just chill out, man.
This
All right, so automatically he's thinking this guy getting arrested. He said, "Look, just follow me. I'll beep at the building, and they will verify it." Now you got to notice this cop is not gonna. He's just not gonna hear that. It's just gonna either he's gonna ignore it or he's blocked it. But the key is we can go inside right now if you want me to prove that I live here. We don't have to take this any further. Let's just go inside and it will validate that I live here.
ridiculous.
I'm just asking you if you have something with your address on it, then that would help me.
No, I don't. How am I
Okay.
supposed to have something with my address
Well,
on
a
it?
lot of people have a
They
driver's
just carry
license.
they just carry something with their address on it?
Yeah, an ID.
It's ridiculous, bro.
Yeah. So, Mr. Atkinson, can I get your date of birth, please?
Why?
I just need to verify who you are, that you belong here, that you have a right to be here, okay?
Are you kidding me, man?
Can you have a seat, please?
No,
Mr. Atkinson.
no, I'm not.
All right, I'm sorry. He just told you we don't need to do that. I could verify that with the people that's here. You can verify that with the manager. And then you can be on your business. No, what you're trying to do is fish for information because, like I said, they take the information, run it through the system, see if you got any priors, and then they can take it to the next level. And you ain't got to give them that information. You can volunteer it, but you don't have to give them that information unless it's your intention to detain, question, or arrest me. Allow me to call my attorney, and if you're not going to charge me with anything, let me go. I'm just minding my own business. You want to validate this, you got to do it my way. We're not going to do it your way. I got the people who manage the place. We can go in there and verify that right now.
I'm not.
290 Cook 12. Can you please have a seat?
No.
Put that down. Stop.
Now, he commits to doing his job because he did nothing
Atkinson.
wrong. He commits to doing his job because he did nothing wrong. The police is now upset because he can't control the situation. He wants to control the situation. He wants this man to sit his butt down, give me some information so I can run it through the system and check you out. If I check you out, I'll let you go. But if I see anything in the system that says something that you're not innocent, I may and see something in there that don't need to be in there, then it's going to go to another level. Again, this cop is starting to harass this guy. This guy just done nothing. There's nothing against the law with sitting on the back porch of a building that you live in. You're assuming he's suspicious. You're profiling him, and you felt the need to approach him. Now, had it been an older white man just sitting there, it'd have been a different story. But let me keep going. I'm sorry.
Right now you're obstructing a police officer, which is a jailable offense. I'm asking you one more time to sit down.
I'm not doing anything wrong. And you're not going to arrest me.
Now, a lot of cops will say that. You're obstructing the police officer. which is a jailable offense. Obstructing mean that you're blocking me from doing an investigation. This doesn't investigate. This is not an investigation. Investigation means that there's a crime that's been done or alleged crime that has been done. Then you have to investigate the situation. Or you had a call about somebody trying to break or enter, and you had no. This guy told you, if you want to verify who I am, let's go inside. But you ain't got to go around bossing me around, trying to dominate me and tell me what to do. I'm sorry, people. Sorry.
You're not going to do anything. Because I live here, and I didn't do anything wrong.
Last chance, sir.
For what?
Have a seat.
For what?
Sit
You're
down.
gonna arrest the
Right now, I'm
person?
detaining you
You're gonna arrest
and
someone?
investigating you for a trespass.
I fucking live here, dumbass.
Sit down. Sit down.
No.
$290.
Now, I know some people say, why don't he listen to the officer? You got to understand, people. He, 9 times 10, is the taxpaying citizen. The officer is there to serve him, not to badger him, not to try to pull information from him. He already told you, if you want to verify who I am, let's go in here and get it done. But no, obviously you don't want to do it that way. You're going to try to do it your way, and your way seems kind of fishy. So I don't know what's going on. I'm not going to give you what you're trying to get, okay? If you want to verify who I am, just come right in here right now and let's get this done and it's over with. But you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. Let's keep going.
Have a seat, please.
You're gonna tase me outside of my residence? I hope that
Drop
thing's
that.
on.
Put that down.
I hope the camera's on, sir.
Put that down.
I really do. No, I'm working.
You need to
I live
listen to
here.
what I'm telling you to
have
do
my
right now.
address. I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything
290,
illegal.
we're on
I haven't done
the
anything
east
wrong,
side of
so I'm not gonna
2333
listen to you.
Folsom.
I don't
Subject's
know you.
failing to comply,
You're actually
not
on my
sitting down,
property,
and he
and I
has
feel
some
unsafe.
kind of a blunt object in his hand.
Yeah.
I'm just going to follow until my cover gets...
Now you hear that? He had the nerve to say he has some kind of blunt object in his hand. He's not listening to me. I told him to sit down. He has some blunt object in it. He has no reason to listen to you. You haven't charged him with anything. You haven't stated what the investigation is all about. Or is there somebody saying there's somebody broke into the place? No, you just mentioned trespassing, and you just assumed that he's trespassing. He told you how to nip it in the bud. Let's go in here and let's get this done. But you refused to listen to the guy, and now you're trying to dominate this guy. Tell him to sit down, listen to what I say. I'm going to ask you some questions. You're going to sit down. I'm going to ask you some questions, and you're going to listen to me. And then he got the nerve to say he has some kind of blunt object. A blunt object. Like he can beat you to death with a picker-upper. Really? A picker-upper. Aluminum lightweight picker-upper. If he hits you on the head with that picker-upper, guess what happened to the picker-upper? It bends in half. That's how lightweight that thing is. But no, anything that looked like an object, you can assume that it's a threat to you and possibly use that as a reason to pop bullets or pop tasers in somebody behind. And that is not right. That is not right. Let's keep going.
Here. Have a seat.
I'm not sitting
Sit down.
I'm not sitting anywhere.
Sit down. Now.
Why?
Now. Do it now.
Why? Why?
I'm detaining you to investigate.
What? For
Investigated
what?
trespass.
I live here. You
You
saw
haven't
I'm a
confirmed that.
student.
Sit down.
I'm a student.
Sit down and I'll
I'm not
confirm it.
sitting anywhere.
Sit down now.
No.
Sit down.
No, I'm not sitting down.
Then you're probably going to get tased in a second.
Why?
Because you have a weapon. Put that
I
down.
have a weapon.
Put it down and comply with my
You
orders.
saw what you're doing, officer.
Do
You
it.
better think, because I got fucking... Dude, I could get lawyers, and you have a
You-
camera on you.
It's filming right now.
You're an idiot.
Have a
Why
seat,
would you
please.
think that you could tase me? I'm freaking picking up trash on my property,
I need to confirm
which
it.
is where I live.
There's a sign.
I'm not doing anything illegal, and you're not gonna fucking tase me, officer. So
Sit
how do
down.
you think about that?
Sit down.
How do you feel about that, sir?
Sit
How
down
do you feel about
now.
that, sir? And get your freaking lieutenant here. All
They're
right?
on the way.
Yeah, good. Jackass.
Sit down now.
Now, as you can see, the whole time he's trying to tell this guy to sit down. He done said this 15 times. So it is his intention. By hook or crook, I'm going to sit your butt down and you're going to answer my questions because I'm in control. You have to listen to me. And that's just the way it is, buddy. I'm the police officer. I'm the dominator. No police officer. You're not the dominator. You're the servant. You're supposed to serve and protect. You're supposed to serve and protect this gentleman too, even though he's not doing it the way you want to be done. He already told you, if you want to verify me being a resident here, let's go inside. We ain't gonna do it your way. It's gonna be done my way. Remember, you work for them, officer. All you have to do is go in. Now, most smart officers say, sure enough, let's go in and let's go ahead and talk to it. But no, you're gonna have those few people that feel like they got to control the situation, that feel like they got to dominate you, that feel like you got to listen to everything they tell you to do like they're your parents, and they will try to treat you such, or they'll try to treat you like they're the boss, you're the employee, when you're actually all the boss. You're the taxpaying citizen who got that job for them, and they have to listen to you. That's why what he did by him requesting on that video to get your lieutenant there, he is obligated to get the lieutenant there. Now, this could end up biting the person behind. You called him lieutenant over something that you could have nipped in the butt a long time ago and went on by your merry business. But no, you got to continue to push.
I'm giving you another order to sit down.
I'm not doing anything wrong and you're filming and you know it. Alright? And you're filming, so you know I didn't do anything wrong. So you can't tase
290,
me,
we're now
you won't
behind
tase me, and we're gonna wait for the
2333
lieutenant,
Folsom.
and you're gonna
Subject
get
is
some shit.
still failing to
You're
comply.
gonna get some shit, sir. Not
Sit
me.
down, sir.
No, I'm not sitting anywhere. You're not in control here. This is my property. I live here, not you.
Sit
Not
down
you.
so I can
live here.
continue
I
my
feel
investigation.
unsafe because you just
Sit down.
threatened to tase me.
Sit down.
I feel unsafe. No, point the camera here.
You have
I'm
a
on the
dangerous
seat.
object in your hand and
I
you're
have a
failing to put it
dangerous
down.
object. I'm picking up trash.
Put it down.
You're
You're being
shoot me.
detained.
Your hand is on your weapon, and you're gonna shoot me? That's what you're gonna do, officer?
290, we're
You're
still
gonna
behind
shoot a resident on his
2333 Folsom.
property for
Subject
picking up
is failing to
trash.
comply.
That's what you're gonna do, officer?
Sit down, sir.
Why don't you use your brain?
I asked you
Use
several
Use
times.
your intelligence. Are you gonna kill me?
Several times I've asked you. Yes, it is. I feel threatened because you're not putting that down. Yes, it is.
I'm picking up trash.
Put it down. I told you many times to put it down.
And you're holding a gun.
Put it down.
And you're holding a gun.
Sir, put it down.
And you're holding a gun. How do you feel?
Put it down,
How do you
sir.
feel, officer? How do you feel? You're
Put
holding
it down.
a gun. How do you feel?
Sit down on the ground like
How do
I've
you
told
feel?
you many times
Or
before.
you're gonna shoot me? Or you're gonna shoot me, officer?
If you use that weapon against me,
A weapon.
then
I'm
yes, that is a
20 feet
consideration.
from you. I'm minding my
All you have to do
business.
is comply right
Everything.
now.
Officer, you're gonna shoot me.
Just have a seat,
You're
man.
gonna shoot me? Are you fucking kidding me?
All I want to
Yo,
do is
somebody
figure this
get a
out with you.
camera on this guy.
Sit down. Sit down.
Hey.
Right.
Somebody in 2333, get a camera on this officer. He has a gun in his hand, and he's gonna shoot me. You got a camera? Exactly. That's my boy, Zinio, right there. This
Hey,
is
Fern,
my
we're
residence.
just to the east of
You're on my
Backcountry Pizza.
property with a gun in your hand.
Sit
threatening
down.
to shoot me because I'm picking up trash. I hope that
Sit
camera's
down.
on fucking camera. Where's your lieutenant?
Just sit down.
Where's your lieutenant? He has a fucking camera on you. You're gonna go to
Sir,
jail.
sit down.
Dude, you're not gonna get away with murder. You're not. Not today.
290, it's going
Not
to be
today.
Arapahoe.
You're not gonna get away with murder.
Sit down.
I'm not sitting down.
Look, I don't want this to go any further, but you need to
You're
comply
gonna
with my
shoot me?
orders.
I don't have a weapon.
That's a weapon.
This is a bucket.
No, that's a weapon. Right
This
there.
is a clamper for picking up garbage, sir.
Put it down. I'm telling you, I'm threatened
It's
by
not
it.
a weapon. You're not threatened. I'm threatened. You have a fucking gun that kills people. How am I supposed to kill someone with
Sit
this?
down, sir.
Dude, no. Keep that.
Sit
that on
down.
camera. He's got his gun in his hand. I'm gonna
Sit
sue
down.
the shit out of you, dude. I go to university here.
Sit
I'm gonna
down.
sue you.
You're
Ready to
refusing to
go.
comply with my
I'm not
orders.
sitting down. I'm not sitting down, and you can't make me. Officer, he's got a gun.
Sit down.
He's got a gun.
Have a seat.
He's got a gun.
Sit down.
Gun. What do you
All
mean?
right, here's where that blue code come in.
Still giving him verbal commands, trying to get him to comply. Sit down and drop that object.
I don't have to do
Sit
anything.
down and drop it.
I'm on duty doing my work and my job, and this officer comes over here.
Drop the object.
Just relax. Are you serious? Just relax. No, Tinio, look at them. No, I'm not doing anything.
Have a seat. Drop it.
I'm not
Drop
live
it.
here.
Drop it.
Why do you all four of them look, dude? All four.
The police are telling you to do something. Do it.
You have a gun in your hand.
Yes, I do, because you're not listening.
You have a fucking gun
You
in
have
your
a
hand.
weapon.
I don't have a
Drop
weapon.
the weapon. Drop it.
I don't have a weapon.
Drop it now.
Focus on me. What are you doing? Focus no, what do you mean? Focus
Drop
on
it
you. There's
now.
fucking 6 of you.
Just drop it.
Really? This is my property.
We're not going anywhere. You need to drop it. I haven't confirmed that yet. I told you I'm investigating a trespass.
I fucking live here.
You didn't give me your address.
2333. I live in room 304.
That's the first time.
And
Have a
all of
seat.
you are fucking threatening me on my property. I live here.
Now, he told the officer the address a long time ago. He's going to go as far as calling this a weapon again. And then he also going to go as far as calling this saying that he didn't ever tell him about the address. And he told him that a long time ago. Let's keep going.
Hey, listen.
I'm a resident
The first thing you
of
need
this
to do is
fucking
drop
property.
that
I'm
item.
picking up garbage from my fucking dorm. I go to school here.
Drop it. Just
I go
drop
to
it and
school
sit.
Here. Don't fucking tell me what to do. You guys don't have a goddamn fucking right to be doing this to me.
Sit down
I'm a
and drop
citizen
it.
of this country.
Sit
I
down.
fucking pay my taxes. I am a student, and all of you have weapons drawn, and I
Sit
feel
down.
threatened.
Sit down and drop that
No!
object.
I will not sit down. I refuse to sit down until you guys put your fucking weapons away.
All right, watch this. Watch
Put your goddamn weapons away.
right there. Can we talk?
Put your fucking gun away.
Have a seat.
Put your fucking gun away.
Have a seat.
Put your gun away, and I will
I'm not
talk
putting
to
my
you.
gun away.
Then I'm not fucking doing a goddamn thing.
Back up
Because you
and have a
came onto
seat.
my property with your weapons drawn, threatening me
Have a seat,
at the
sir.
place that I fucking sleep.
Back up.
How do you feel about that?
Back up.
How do you feel about
Back
that?
up and sit down, please.
Fucking tell me what to do. What, you're gonna shoot me?
No one's gonna shoot
Or you're gonna tase me and arrest me and beat the shit out of me like every other fucking... No, don't tell me what to do. Get off my property. Get off my property.
I'm asking you your name.
Get off my property.
I'm Officer Parker.
Great.
You want to tell me your name?
Why should I have to?
Because then we can have an adult conversation.
An adult conversation now.
Yeah.
You want to have an adult conversation after your fucking deputy pulled his gun on me.
I do want to talk to you. Yes.
Really?
That's correct.
You got it all on camera.
Yep, I do want to talk to you.
So how do you feel about that, sir?
Well, why don't you tell me your name and then we'll have a conversation.
Just talk to my partner.
I really don't think that that is okay with me.
Okay.
I don't feel like having how many strangers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Correct.
8 officers of the law with guns drawn. On my property. I'm picking up trash for my job. He will refuse to put his weapon away. He refuses to put his weapon away, which is the first thing I asked for. And you want my name.
Yep, I'm Officer Parker.
And you have weapons drawn. You guys look like you're ready to go.
I got empty here.
You're ready to go, right?
But you won't
Just
tell
talk
me
to
your
him.
I'm not. Why I gotta talk to him? Because you can't handle
Well,
your shit.
you don't seem to want to talk to
You
me.
fucked up, dude. You called the whole cavalry.
You're not
For what?
listening.
For what?
You're not listening.
name. Favor, just don't get any closer, okay? Can I step in and talk to you?
For what? Weapons drawn. Put your fucking
You need to
gun
put
away,
that down.
jackass.
I'm not putting my
Are you
gun
gonna
away.
shoot me? There's fucking cameras everywhere, dude. Are you gonna shoot me?
My plan is not to
Dude,
shoot you.
You said this is a weapon.
It can be used as a
Do you
weapon,
feel like this
yes.
is threatening? Yeah.
Can you put it away? Can you just drop it on the ground? I'll put my gun down.
You're on my property.
No, set it down.
If you put that down, I'll put my gun away.
Why?
I told you why, because it can be used as a
It can
weapon.
be used as a weapon.
Right.
You're a jackass.
There you go. That's all I need.
Put your fucking gun away.
Yep, you got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Could you have a seat over here? Now we can talk.
Now again, he said, I'm not gonna put my weapon down until you put yours down. Still trying to control the situation. So I said, I gave you the order. You comply with my order, and that's the reason why I put my weapon down. So it's all a game of you comply with me and I comply with you that this particular cop is trying to do. And he put his weapon down, and he didn't have to. And everybody know that's not a serious weapon, a weapon of threat. And I don't even think if you try to choke somebody with that weapon, if you try to pull that on somebody's neck real hard, it's so lightweight, it probably bend up and break it in half. I don't think you can choke nobody with that mess unless you stick it in their throat or something like that. A picker upper is not a blunt object. It is not a deadly weapon, but they got 8 cops on this dude as if it was. How do you think that make this police officer look like a doggone fool, man? But let me keep going because I keep stopping. Let me stop.
I'm not sitting. You can sit.
Hey, Zayd.
What?
Okay, these nice people here told me that you are a resident.
Oh, wow.
So, Zayd,
What a fucking
that's what we were
surprise.
trying to find out, okay?
What a fucking surprise. I gave him my ID,
Okay.
and then he started taking down my fucking information, telling me this, that, and the other thing. And then I walk away, and he pulls his fucking taser out
So,
on me.
Zayd, I'm listening to you, and I just appreciate if you do so. Okay? So, Zayd, if you were willing to sit down, this would bring everything down a little bit, and we could start calming down.
I
and figuring things out.
do not feel comfortable sitting down around a bunch of fucking murderers.
Okay. So, Zayd.
This guy was ready to kill me, sir.
Okay, so, Zayd, once again, I'm Officer Parker.
Oh, you're just gonna ignore what I just said, though?
No, I'm just trying to communicate
Okay.
as adult men.
Right.
Okay? So I think you can hear the fact that I'm just trying to be professional with you here
No,
and
okay.
get some communication going so where we can get this resolved. Because
Unbelievable.
I now found out who you are. I found out that you're a resident here.
I gave him my ID. He knew who I was. I said my name was Zayd Atkinson.
Okay.
I gave him my ID. He asked me what the address.
Now, all this officer had to do was be professional like this guy. He told him at the beginning, hey, I just got my student ID. Most of the students not going to get a driver's license in that city. Most of the students probably not even going to drive in that city. I live in New York City. I refuse to drive in New York City. And I have what they call a New York City ID with my address and everything on it. And I could give the cops my ID. But the bottom line, he's going to take the ID and say, I'll be right back and run it through the system. No, give me my ID back. You see my address right there. Give me my ID back. You don't have a right to take my ID. And you don't have a right to go run it through the system. And see, that's what they try to do. That's a little extra thing they do. No, this is my ID. You see the address, right? You see the address right there? Fine, give my ID. I'm going back inside. That's it. You don't need to go any further. And see, that's when things get escalated because now you're violating my rights and you're trying to go a little further than where we needed to go. And that's exactly what this cop did. He went further than what he needed to go. Had he did like this police officer on the left-hand side, just go in and ask the question, it would have been a done deal. All of this would have never happened. But no, this particular idiot cop, I'm going to say most cops are not like this. You got a bunch of bad apples that end up affecting the rest of the bad apples because they'll look at this and think they got to be this way. And you don't. This is the wrong way to police. The wrong way. Okay. Now, had he went inside and verified that he did not live there, then he could take his aggression up another level because now you lied to me. Now I need you to really sit down. Okay. Because now you're actually trespassing. You broke a law. Now I have some questions. Now I have a right to arrest you. So, like I said, there's the cops doing their real, because I know some of you people up there, they ain't letting the cops do his job. Problem is the cops is not doing his job in this situation. He's not doing his job. He's over-policing. That is not his job to over-police. Now, this other cop, he's doing his job. He would have listened to this guy and said, hold on, you say you live here? All right, so I'll go in, we'll verify that, and I'll be on my way. And that's all they had to do. This situation didn't have to go this far. But no, because of this cop feeling like he have to control the situation, it led up to this. Trying to control the situation. This when you forget that this is when you totally enwrap yourself with being a cop that you forget that you are a human being. That at some time of the day, you might have to take off that uniform. And at some time of the day, you may not have that badge with you. And this has happened. You may be riding around just going fishing in another town, and a cop will treat you just like you treating this person. Now, this other cop is acting professional, and this is what we need, more of this. Now let me continue. We're almost done.
I said 2333. I said, let me walk up to the door and beat myself into the building. And he refused to let me walk to my house.
Okay, Zay, I'm hearing what
How
you're
is
telling
that
me.
okay?
So
How is that okay?
I'm understanding you're upset.
What do you mean you're
290.
understanding I'm upset? He came out with a shotgun.
Now he covers the
Of course
camera.
I'm upset. He pulled out his
Cardi
fucking
has
gun
dropped his weapon.
and said that I'm a
We're
fucking
currently
threat.
trying to get him to comply.
On my own property, I'm a threat because I'm picking up garbage.
Take a step back or two for me, okay, so that I can feel.
Why don't you get off my property?
Okay.
Why don't you get off my property?
What I'm trying to resolve with you.
Why don't you get off my property and stop telling me what to do at my fucking house? How about that?
If you were willing to sit down, we could talk about
I'm not sitting down.
Okay.
Why don't you go home, officer?
Right.
And why don't you guys go find some real criminals instead of wasting my goddamn time? How about that? I fucking live here. You think this is a joke? I fucking live here. You were ready to shoot me down. And you didn't know a goddamn thing. You're wasting all our fucking resources.
I didn't even point my gun
You're
at you,
wasting
sir.
all our resources. There's people out there actually committing crimes.
Like, can I
How do
tell
you
you something?
feel?
Can I
How
tell
do
you
you
something?
feel? You're ready to jump out of your skin because you know you fucking made a dumb mistake today.
Can I tell you something?
No. I don't want to hear it.
Okay.
I want you to get
Why
off
don't
my
you talk
property.
to my partner,
I
then?
don't want to talk to any of
Right
you
now, I need you to
boys.
sit down
I
so
want
we
you
can
guys
figure
to
it
get
out.
off my property and stop wasting my fucking time.
That's not going to happen until I confirm who you are and what you're doing.
Now, he's still trying to control the situation. Still trying to tell him to sit down. Still trying to tell him to figure out when this cop already done figured it out and it's been verified that he lived there. This is a control. This is what you call a control freak, a narcissist. Somebody who just have to have the upper hand and still prove his point. And this is what this particular police officer is. Not all of them, as you see. The other one was called in because the cops, that particular controlling officer, called them in. He called for backup, and they didn't need this backup. And they're over there like, really, dude? You called us in here. They're not going to say it to this dude, but you called us in here for backup because this dude got a bucket and a picker-upper. I don't see no machine gun. I don't see no handgun. I don't see a knife or nothing. That this dude got a bucket and a picker-upper, but you called here. And they have to stay there until the situation is over. They can't just blow him off. And yet here's this other person already confirmed that he lived there, and he's still trying to do this mess. Just prove that this particular cop, and it happens to, sad to say, a lot of cops who get a badge, that they become control freaks. Got to control the situation by any means necessary.
You already know who I am. He just confirmed who I am.
I don't have your date of
want my
birth,
ID
which is
back.
what I asked
Matter
for.
of fact, I want my ID back, please.
And when we've finished, then you can have
and
it
then
back.
you can go.
Can you have a seat so we can talk
I'm
a
not
little
sitting.
more?
And
Okay.
I don't think that I have to sit. I'm not sitting. This isn't like a game.
Right now, you're acting very.
We're gonna negotiate what we do here because I have my fucking rights, and you guys came onto my property, right, with suspicion of bullshit fucking accusations, right? I don't know what the fuck you guys are even here for. You haven't even told me what your purpose is.
You didn't give me a chance.
You haven't told me what your fucking purpose is, sir.
I'd be happy to if you can just have a seat.
I don't want to know anymore.
Okay.
What I want right now is I want my identification. I'm not fucking sitting down.
Well,
All right? And I
here's
hope
what we
that you
can do.
realize that, sir. I'm not fucking sitting
Here's
down.
what we can do. We can stand here all day.
All right. And you can waste our resources when there's people out there committing crimes, right?
Or I
And
can
that's
get
what
your.
you're after, right? Criminals, right?
I can get your
Right?
name, your date of birth.
You have all my
Find
stuff.
out. I don't have your date of birth yet.
Why do you need my information?
I explained
Why are you
it to
coming
you.
onto my property asking me for my information? This is where I fucking live. I don't need to give you shit. I didn't do shit. I fucking live here.
Do we just want to stand here?
I
Then?
live here. Go get the fucking go get everybody. Call everybody.
That's not how it works.
Call everybody. Then we'll have a standoff, dude. Are you fucking kidding me? This is stupid. I live here.
Hang
You
out
came
and
on
just
my
talk to my
property
partner.
and you fucking took my identification, dude. I live here, not you. You need to tell me who the fuck you are.
So I saw him sitting here.
Yeah, you need to tell me who the fuck
Right in
you
this
are.
area, saw
What's
the
your
private
name?
property sign. Thought maybe he wasn't really doing anything. He's kind of milling about, and then he'd come back down, sit, milling about, come back down to sit. And then when I came into the alley, he stood up, and I saw that he had that metal thing, and it looked like he was kind of banging it, like against the. So I wasn't sure if he's like trying to damage something or and then I addressed him, and then he proceeded to walk around here, and I saw it was like a device for picking up trash, and he was picking up trash. So I contacted him and just asked him, hey, can I, let me chat with you? I'm just checking to make sure that you have a right to be here. And then he initially talks to me, I ask him why he's here, and he says he lives here and works here, and I ask him for the address, and he turns and reads it off of the building.
Okay.
And he won't tell me his apartment number. He gives me like some kind of school ID, but it doesn't have a date of birth, so I ask him for his date of birth.
Do you get it?
No. At that point, he refuses, and he starts walking away, picks up that metal object and the bucket and walks away from me. I just follow him at a distance.
Obviously, this guy is obfuscating, word salad, lying, pretty much lying or not being truthful. The guy told him everything that he needed to know. All he had to do was go in and verify, and it would have been over with. He went from calling up the thing to pick up the trash to now the object to now the weapon. I mean, this guy is just a lame excuse for a police officer. He should not be in that job. Things don't have to go that far. But like I say, he's a control freak. When he can't control and get everything done the way he wants, then he gets upset. Yet still at the same time, he's still trying to fish information from this guy when the other officer proved that this is his property. He works there. He lives there. He's a student, and you can't expect a student to have an ID with the address on it because he's not going around trying. 9 times 10, he's probably not driving. He's probably catching the bus to school, and you don't need an ID to do that. I got my student ID, dude, and I got my ID from my original residence outside. Why would he get and that's another thing. Why would I need a residential ID when it's going to cost me more money if I'm a resident of that state as a student? No, non-resident is cheaper for me, and my tuition is if I'm a non-resident going to that school. So there's various reasons why you're not going to get an ID with the address from a student going to college in that area. You're going to get a student ID. It doesn't going to necessarily have the dorm that you live in on. None of that stuff. But look, all he had to do was do what this particular officer did. Now, this guy is sitting here lying, still trying to make excuses, still trying to throw it off on this guy being the reason why he can't do his job. The problem you can't do your job is because you're overstepping your job. It's not your job to do what you just did right here.
Cover hits here.
Okay. So we confirmed that he lives here, right?
No.
He just did.
Okay.
Parker just did. He confirmed that he lives here, right?
According to him, he lives here. He just provided a unit number finally. I don't have a date of birth. I don't know who he is.
Okay. All right. So let's. You got his information in terms of his name and all that?
I just have his name.
Okay. Then give him his ID back, and then we're out of here. Yeah, because we already confirmed he's there, and this gentleman here just said, yeah, he works here and lives here. So.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he just.
The bottom line, officer, you lost this one. You overstepped your boundary. You went too far. You didn't need to do all that. Now you have to do what Big Nick Accountability talks about all the time. You got to do the walk of shame. So let's see what happens, because now you got to let this go. And this dude won and you didn't. And it's okay, officer. You don't need to win every fight. This shouldn't have never been a fight anyway. You picked this fight and you lost it. It shouldn't have been a fight. It's a simple, easy, I verify you. That's it. We both win. I got other stuff to do.
To get what you want, you have to deserve what you want. Most people don't deserve what they want. They just want stuff. They're spoiled brats.
Now, as you notice, the guy covered up the camera and cut off the mic, so you can't hear him eat crow, because he's definitely eating crow, because his mission was not accomplished in that situation. And the dude is not listening to him at all. Eat the crow, give the guy's license back, give this guy's ID back, and go about your merry way. Now, I tell you, probably won't be the first time. If this guy don't file a complaint against this officer and pretty much take him to court over this for harassment, then this particular cop will continue to patrol that area to try to get this guy again. Which is sad because this guy makes other cops have a bad reputation. See, I got family members. Like I said, I was married to a cop. I got a family member. My cousin Dave, he's a cop. My best friend, Michael Wallace, my best friend in high school, Michael Wallace, is a cop. There's a lot of people I know that are police officers, and they do their job, and they love their community, and they give to their community, and they lift up the kids in their area, and I mean neighborhoods. I mean, they're heroes. But then you got somebody that's a zero, like this dude. Now you got to act like you're writing down stuff. He ain't writing down nothing, man. You're not going to hear him eat crow, but you will see him do the walk of shame. And here it goes. Look at all these officers. Got one officer with a gun. Eat that crow. Don't want to have it on record. Now, he probably told him to get his hand from behind his back. Still thinking this guy's a threat. Trying to control him. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to a actual cam from the guy who was videotaping it from the balcony. And here goes the walk of shame. He had to give him the license document back and walk of shame. Now, this guy looked like he's ready to shoot somebody. Look at him. Got his gun ready to shoot. Of course, he's talking trash to him, and he got every right, and he's taking his weapon, his blunt object, and he's going to continue to do the job that he came to do. Now he turns the mic back on, saying this thing almost got me killed.
This video showing the back half of an incident between an Europa University student and multiple Boulder police officers. It's now the catalyst for not just community conversations, but multiple investigations. The first officer on scene called for backup because he felt like Zaid Atkinson would not put down what he called a blunt object in a place that was labeled as private property. Turns out Atkinson lives there, and that object was a trash grabber and a bucket.
I had guns pointed at me because of the color of my skin.
I want to publicly and personally apologize to Zaid Atkinson and his family.
The city now vowing to complete an independent investigation based on what leaders saw in this video.
I live here. You came on my property.
I had difficulty watching it because I very much felt like we were going to watch somebody die.
This community activist and Colorado Public Health Association employee not entirely confident in Boulder's ability to do a fair investigation. That's based on the last one they did pertaining to racial bias. In 2016, a private company made several suggestions to the city after finding out that black people only account for 1% of Boulder's population, but have been cited more than twice that rate.
Minimal follow through and half measures. So it's difficult to know if this will in the long run be something similar as far as the result goes, or if this will be something that really creates change in our community in the long run.
Thompson hoping things will be different this time around. Meanwhile, the city is still trying to figure out who will head up that independent investigation, and the police will work their own internal process.
City of Boulder says officers made a mistake when they confronted a black student outside his apartment. Zaid Atkinson was picking up trash when an officer thought he was trespassing.
That incident, which prompted charges of racial profiling, came to a head of sorts today. A Boulder police officer has now resigned after the department said he violated 2 of their policies in confronting that black man who was in his own yard. Still, Boulder police say their internal investigation did not support the claims of racial profiling. This is Officer Smiley's body cam video from the morning of March 1st.
I couldn't help but notice you're sitting on the patio behind this building. Yeah, and there's signs for no trespassing, private property, that kind of thing. Yeah, I wasn't sure what you were doing, if you lived here or you worked here. It looks like you're working, doing something, picking stuff up.
It wasn't long before the situation with Naropa student Zaid Atkinson started to escalate.
Would you think that you could tase me? I'm freaking picking up trash on my property.
I need to confirm it.
Which is where I live.
There's a sign.
I'm not doing anything illegal, and you're not gonna tase me, officer.
About a minute later, Smiley drew his handgun.
You have a dangerous object in your hand and you're failing to put it down.
I'm picking up trash.
Put it down. You're being detained.
Your hand is on your weapon, and you're gonna shoot me? That's what you're gonna do, officer?
Ultimately, 8 officers arrived. Atkinson was neither arrested nor ticketed, though. The report today says that Officer Smiley, a 14-year veteran of the department, violated policy in that there was no reasonable suspicion to believe Atkinson was committing or was about to commit a crime. Therefore, he had no authority to detain him. As part of the settlement, Smiley resigned, but stays on Boulder's payroll until February of 2020.
We disagree that there was not racism involved in this incident. This officer contacted Zaid because of the color of Zaid's skin, because he was a black man in a predominantly white area. Officer Smiley is getting a 1-year paid vacation, paid by the taxpayers of Boulder. He's getting nearly $80,000 for unlawfully stopping a man because of the color of his skin and then putting that person in fear of his life. And Boulder thinks the appropriate action is to allow this officer to resign and to pay him nearly $80,000. That is unacceptable.
Rathod told me he thinks the next step is likely a lawsuit against the city of Boulder and the police department.
And rightfully so, and rightfully so. So, well, there you go. Now, obviously, this is not a head scratcher. This happens every day in the urban communities, and as you can see in not so urban communities, in the suburbs. It's something that they have to start putting stronger policies in place. That if you go overboard in a situation like this, no, you're just going to get fired with no pay. See, can I tell you something? You already know my story. I got fired because of a train delay. Stuck on the train. Train was my transfer train was supposed to go straight to the next stop. It decided to hold the train until the time for it to start going express. It was not supposed to be doing that whole day. And the bottom line is I was fired. I didn't get administrative leave. I didn't get any extra pay. It was over with, done. So what's the difference between this guy? Why is he allowed to pick up almost $80,000 a year and then decide to resign? He's pretty much on vacation right now. Clearly he was in the wrong. Clearly he was harassing this guy. Clearly he was trying to control and dominate this guy. Clearly he didn't have anything to say. Obviously, he probably feels since he was black in the neighborhood, he probably got a prior. That's the reason why he kept pushing him for more information. The dude told him, look, we can nip this in the bud right away. Let's just go inside and get this on. They'll verify. And it would have been done, over with. But no, he has to sit down and get information from him. Sit down, I need to get some information. Sit down, I need to get some information. Sit down, I can get an information. Whenever you hear sit down, I need to get some information from you, you don't have to give them. A lot of time the information is called fishing. They're trying to fish for any priors, anything that you may have against you. Legally, you don't have to give them any information unless they suspect you of a crime. Being on private property, he said it was private property trespassing. Being on private property and trespassing is two different things. That private property could be your property. Trespassing, if I haven't called you and told you somebody's on my property, then you don't need to be bothering anybody there. Okay? I can have somebody that may be visiting me. What, you're going to harass those visitors because they're sitting on my porch? You don't know if they're visitors of mine. You come talk to me. You don't talk to that person. And that's what that cop failed to do. And the excuse of saying that this is not racial profiling, get out of here with this mess. This is a man that, clean shaven. You can kind of tell that he's biracial, or got to be a super light skinned black guy. But there's a lot in there saying is that he's probably biracial. According to our census, is still considered black. But if he shaved that hair off, and it's kind of hard to tell his race. He can go for Arab, he can go for Hispanic, he can go for black. It's kind of hard. But the bottom line is he was profiled because of his color. They can shake it off. They can do whatever they can. Now, of course, rightfully so, cop was suspended. Rightfully so, he had to resign. Second, he has a right to file a lawsuit. Okay? And I'm quite sure he will. And anybody else in a situation like this, if you feel like a cop is overbearing on you, you have a right to you have a right to file a complaint. You have a right to file a lawsuit if you feel like your rights was being violated. Have at it. Like I said, majority of cops are not like this, but you're going to get those. You're going to get a select few that they literally become a cop. A cop is who they are. They forget about the human side, and they literally live their life as a dominator, controller of their perimeters, and they have to control the situation. And that should not be the definition of a police officer. That's actually a definition of a control freak, a narcissist. And clearly that guy is just, even to the point when the officer told him you were wrong for doing that, he's still saying, he still would try to find some way to get some kind of information. That's it? I got to let this go? I can't still try to get in there? No, it's done, son. It's over with. Let's go. It's done. Leave the dude alone. He did nothing. And now he's sitting at home, still collecting a check. I wouldn't give him nothing. Because he clearly violated that guy's rights. And that guy might end up doing a whole lawsuit on the entire police department, not just this gentleman. All right, and again, go down to the link where it say ejforall.com. Watch those videos, because there's so much that program could have did in a situation like this. So much that program could have did in a situation. Like I said, I've been in situations almost similar to that. But because I have access to an attorney, those situations always come out different and always come out in my favor without going that far. Okay. Is it the solution to stopping cops from harassing people? No. Cops still going to harass you. Some cops still going to harass you, not all. But you have a connection just in case they do it. You have the Miranda rights. The Miranda rights give you the opportunity to call your attorney. And with this program, that attorney will be there on the phone to deal with that cop. And one time I was stopped by the police, and the police say, hey, you can go ahead and write him a ticket for something that's bogus. But if it's proven that he didn't do this, you better believe we're going to file a civil rights lawsuit against you. Oh, he didn't like that. He didn't like that. So basically, I didn't pay the ticket. You don't have to pay the ticket. You can challenge it in court. And that's exactly what I did. I don't ever sign a ticket, ever. They'll try to get you, this is not a admission of guilt, but just sign the ticket. No, I'm not signing anything. Give me the ticket. I'm going to assume it's an admission of guilt, so I'm not signing no ticket. I'll see you in court. And I end up going to court, and guess what? I don't have to be in the courtyard to do that. I just give them, the attorneys will show up for court for me, and they'll fight that situation for me. Oftentimes, they don't show up and end up going in my favor, but my attorney will be there, and a lot of time, he know the codes, he know what to say, and he know what to do to keep the points off the record where my insurance rates get low. So please take a look at that information down at the bottom and get to know Legal Shield. And hey, if you become a member, great. Anybody who become a member, you got full access to the Patreon channel. I'm Robert Brown with the Rob Report, and we got to fight injustices no matter where it is. Remember, Dr. Martin Luther King said, wherever there's injustice in one place, there's injustice every place, and we have to fight hard against that. I'm Robert Brown with the Rob Report. I'll talk to you later. Peace. Hey, thank you for watching that episode of the Rob Report. Before you go now, I need you to do two things for me. First thing, I want you to like the video if you liked it. Second thing, I want you to share it all across social media. And if you have not subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button right now. Stop and do it. As Jimmy Dore says sometimes, you think you're subscribed, or you go check and find out you're not subscribed. So make sure you check that you're subscribed and hit the notification bell. That'll let you know when I put a new content out. I'm not a fan of Super Chat, so if you plan on giving to the efforts of Bob TV, make sure you do that through Bob TV NYC at paypal.me. Anybody who want to have free access to my Patreon channel, I'm trying to save you money on your cable bill. I ran into a program that I think everybody can afford, and everybody should have, and that link is down there below. 5,000 plus channel, best sports package, and the best premium TV, and even international channels, and you can access this all over the world. Go ahead and check that out, get your free trial, and if you decide to support, become members of those two services, we'll go ahead and give you full access to the Patreon channel, and there's no cost to it. So my name is Robert Brown with the Rob Report. Thank you for watching. I'll holler at you later. Peace.